Dear students, we continue chapter 5.1, part 3, public sector workers benefit. This part, we explain about the general order. Okay. The previous one we talked about public pensions scheme, but that one is actually covered on the benefits available for the public sector workers upon retirement. But this one is actually talking about the benefits, or sometimes we call it as a fringe and benefits available for public sector workers while they are still in service. So everything is actually referring to the general order, so we call it as Perintah Am, Bab A until Bab G. Chapter A is about promotion, chapter B allowances, benefits, chapter C about leave, chapter D discipline, chapter E housing, F medical, and G working hours. I will not explain very detail about this, yeah, so you have to find it by yourself, but then you can also download this general order from internet. Okay. Protection under general order, chapter A, explain about the promotion. So the promotion of public sector workers, basically there must be a Malaysian citizen, and then sometimes it is also some clause to talk about the reappointment of the position, but then it's still talking about the, if you are terminated and is there any possibility that you will be reappointed, yeah, something like that. And then we also talk about secondment, yeah. In secondment, you are entitled to get the allowance and how long you can be seconded for a certain position. And it also talk about the termination. Usually when you talk about termination, maybe because of health or because of discipline and other factors. Chapter B, talking about allowances available for the public sector workers. So the allowances entitled for the public sector workers, it depends on the grade, the position, the official duties. For example, like those who are working in the in local, and all those who are working in mission, and then what types of job, and etc. Allowances also talk about the mileage, about the uniform, and many more. In the same time, we talk about the benefits here under chapter B. So the benefit, for example, like if you are transferred from one place to another, yeah, from one location to another, when you are promoted, then what are the benefits available to be given for the public sector workers? Chapter C. Yeah, chapter C explain about leave. Yeah, so chapter C, we talk about leave. Public sector workers are entitled to get the race day. For example, yeah, you are entitled to get 25 days, 30 days, or 35 days. It depends on when you are appointed in public sector. Okay, and then in the same time, when you can get half paid leave, yeah, on what condition, and when you can apply for the unpaid leave. So in the same time, medical leave, yeah, and sick leave, maternity leave, specific disease, unrecorded leave, study leave, performing Hajj leave, and many more. So it also underline the process on how you can apply for those leaves, yeah, and the approval of this leave is subject to the head of department when they actually can determine whether the necessity of this application. It is a privilege but not absolute right when you apply for leave. I think I mentioned before. Chapter D talk about discipline, nothing much about this. So we have types of disciplinary issues, action, procedures, implication when you are charged with any disciplinary action, okay, and definitely it will affect your benefits, and also we talk about pension just now. Chapter E, we talk about housing. Housing benefits. So housing benefits, you are eligible for certain position condition. For example, like when you work in mission, meaning to say like in high commission or embassies outside of countries, then you can eligible to get the house benefits. Yeah, this is not housing loan. Yeah, this is housing benefits. Yeah, so meaning to say that you can get quarters or something like that. Yeah, in the same time, for example, like if your post, if you hold a position, a higher post, like and higher rank, like example like the director, yeah, then you get also entitled to get the benefits. Yeah, it also talk about the rent rate. If the rent rate is higher, then what are the amount to be paid or to be subsidized by the government to pay for the rent, and etc. It is also talking about the utilities. Again, it depends on the grade, it depends on the position, and many more. Chapter F, we talk about medical benefits. So what are the treatment available for you to get the medical benefits? Yeah, what entitlements. So for example, like what a class 1, class first class, second class, or third class. Yeah, and MC, how you can apply it, and to what extent it is actually valid, etc. Okay, medical costs and many more. Chapter G, we're talking about the working hours. Yeah, office hours, for example, like 8 to 5, and now we have flexi hours, for example 8:30 to 5:30, 7:30 to 4:30, something like that. Yeah, and overtime, you have to understand that overtime is only for the supporting staff. Those who are officer level or professional level and above, you are not entitled for the overtime. Yeah, so then if you are entitled for overtime, you can get overtime pay, and then it depends on the entitlement as well. Next, we're going to look into trend and issues in public pension system. The first one is size of public service Malaysia. So size really matters, because the bigger size of public sector workers, then the more emolument should be to be paid by the government to the pensioners. So if you can look at this what we call infographic here, you can see that Malaysia is among the highest, okay, in terms of the size of public service worker. Yeah, so the bigger the size, the higher emolument cost we affect from operating expenditure, and also civil service the pensioners lah. Yeah, this one issue. So this is another what we call percentage of the working population in civil service, even though Indonesia is quite high, but we can compare in terms of the population. In the same time, we talk about the efforts taken by JPA to reduce actually, or to control the size of public sector workers. But recently, from 2019 until 2001, this is the efforts taken by JPA to reduce the size. Yeah, so for example, like the implementation strategies is to privatize, to redeploy, to outsource certain tasks or certain type of job, and then we can also provide alternative service delivery. Yeah, now we talk about automation. Yeah, use machine, improve. Yeah, what we call BPR, business process re-engineering, and many more. It will also just to recruit, to add for new recruitment is only according to the need. Yeah, it will not involve critical sectors such as health, education, and safety in the country. So this mechanism not to retrench any public sector workers, but to control the placement of vacant posts, which is that vacant post is already more or over 2 years already. Then they can what we call what we call this reducing size or controlling size of the civil sector workers. In the same time, we talk about inadequacy of pension. There are lots of cases reported in the newspaper. There's a lot of report in the newspaper saying that many what we call public pensioners actually suffered from the stress, the inadequacy of benefits, okay, unable to continue their life in terms of the financial stability, and many more. Yeah, so if you look at this one, yeah, 200,000 pensioners, government pensioners faced with the stress in life because of one pension tidak mencukupi. Yeah, so they have to go and to get another job after retirement. Yeah, this is very very frustrating. And this issue happen because of several factors. For example, like the cost of living is very high day by day. We talk about health cost is very high from time to time. In the same time, we talk about the possibility for the old people to get disease, yeah, non-communicable disease, for example. Then you have to pay for more cost. And then we talk about saving behavior. Okay, while you are still in service, do you save actually? Yeah, do you save? So because it is very important to understand that when we talk about public pension system, they will know contribution from the employees. Yeah, the what we call pension is actually coming from the taxation, from the tax, and then 100% contribution by the government. So if the public sector workers fail or not having the good saving behavior, then the amount that you can save is maybe minimum, or maybe nothing at all. So because some kind of attitude, for example, like you only rely on the public pension later on when you retire, so this is not adequate. So this is another issue. Late entry is another challenge, because for example, like just now I think I have mentioned about the pension that you can receive. The amount of pension that you can receive is actually depends on the tenure or the number of years that you serve the government of your service. So if you late join in the public sector, then it will also affect the numbers of pension that you're going to receive later on when upon retirement. So it is also talking about the preparation for retirement, meaning to say, so how you prepare for retirement. Do you purchase house already before you retire? Have you settled down all the what we call commitment, for example, like transportation loan, personal loan, and credit card, and then and many other, so if you can settle down all of this commitment before you retire, then you can have better saving. You have better what we call financial stability upon retirement. So this is another issue. Penjawat awam sakit kronik, bersara awam dapat ganjaran bersara sebab kesihatan, dapat pension lebih baik. This is among the efforts taken by the government to provide better benefits for the pensioners. So talking about trend and issues, also about pension reform, I think you have heard about it before when the government proposed, reforms in public pension. But then why this thing happened? Because of the cost for pension is very high. We talked about it a lot before, and because of the size of pensioners, and then the sustainability of our pension system is not quite promising. So even though we use the pay-as-you-go system, there are so many people actually quite dissatisfied with this issue, and to a certain extent, the politician play around with this issue, saying that there's a lot of wastage of government money when you spend a lot for emolument for a big numbers of pensioners. So we need to spend this money for a better development work or project, for example, for a better economy in our country. And then the restructuring of this new pension system, it actually invited a lot of critics, comment, and opinion from the public. But as for now, it is still on hold because we need to relook and to revisit this pension system. So this is the pension cost. I think I had mentioned about it before. Okay, we end of chapter 5.1. So this is the discussion and tutorial. So please discuss about this issue later on during the lecture and tutorial. So the first one, please, lesson learned from developed country of pension system. Try to look at the developed countries or Scandinavian country, how they do it, but maybe you can also compare to the our neighboring country, ASEAN country. So we need pension reform. Do you think we need pension reform as for now? So please debate. It's better to work in government sector. Do you agree with this? And then sharing experience on pension benefit. Maybe you can observe from your family members, your parents maybe, or your grandparents maybe. If some of them actually receiving the public pension. That's all for this chapter. I'll see you again, inshallah, in chapter 5.2.